G'day folks, just in the process of removing the crusher feeder from the shredding system so that I can use it to mulch a big pile of garden waste. I'm also going to pull the rotor out and just modify it for the time being. I mean, it's pretty well spent, but I might weld some high tensile cutting inserts onto it and just hope that it'll do the job. This whole machine's about due for replacement at the moment. It doesn't have the capacity that I need. I'm looking at building something maybe twice the size of this in length. Much bigger cutters, maybe more horsepower. I might stick to the original motor, but I'll try and find a bigger drive pulley, reduce the RPMs of the shaft and just get more torque. And it's a great system, but it just needs a bit more work. I built it when I was a bit low on resources, so there are a few little shortcuts and things. The electrics are all good. I'm just in the process of disconnecting the feeder. The motor's obviously very good. It's a classic old century electric propulsion induction motor. 240 volt, 50 Hertz AC, 2¼ horsepower. Thing weighs about 70 kilos. Do a quick motor test. I realise this motor pulley is actually an A section pulley, and I'm using B series belts, but so far I've not had a single problem with it slipping or losing torque. Still very powerful. Eventually I'll find another B series 4-groove pulley, but for now it'll do the job. And that's what I mean by I had budget cuts when I was building this thing. I just used whatever I had on hand that worked, and it does work very well. So I don't really need to replace it at the moment. Give her a shot. And there's a lot of crap in the hopper actually, so stick that there. Garden waste. That's why the cutters need to be replaced. They're dropping shit through that hasn't been chopped. This is a motor startup with no load. Damn, that's fast. That is a very high torque startup. That's why these motors kick ass. They will start immediately and they'll start under full load. You can see the neck lace in there too. That expands under centrifugal force and disengages the brushes once the motor's up to speed. You're not constantly running your brushes and wearing them out. That's what the big click is when it starts. Let's try it again. There we go. That big click was the neck lace disengaging the brushes. Brushes are back here, and the commutator bars are actually a flat plate on the end of the motor rather than a cylindrical bush. It just pushes the brushes back away from it. A good old-fashioned motor. It's fitted with all bronze bearings. They are continuously lubricated by a lubrication ring that floats around in the sump and rolls around on the motor shaft itself. And just before I run out of battery, let's give it one more shot. That is really quick. Damn, they're a nice motor. Hear the brushes whining against the commutator. You can actually jog it pretty quick too. It doesn't seem to mind, it doesn't heat up. No matter how long I've run this granulator, it does not warm up very much at all. Unlike conventional motors which seem to cook after about half an hour. Right now I'm just playing with it. I'm trying to use up the battery in the camera, and then I'll change over and finish the rest of this project. That was starting without the brushes. If you get it right at the bottom of the cycle when it's just about to re-engage the brushes, it will bog down a bit, but once those brushes are re-engaged, she'll start under 800% torque. And that's the control station I'm using. One normally open, one normally closed push button switch. Very simple. I think they're about a $50–60 item at the local electrical store. I don't actually have a chain hoist just yet, but I can still lift the cover up and lash a chain around her and at least get most of the weight off it so that I can manoeuvre this thing around. The other alternative is to take the motor, gearbox and pretty much everything else I can off it to the point where I can actually lift it. Since this thing's about 80–90 kilos, it's better just to sling it off the overhead rail. I'm actually going to jam a brace under there once I pull the machine out from underneath it. I know that rail can handle a fair bit of weight, but not as much as I've got on it. Basically all I'm going to do is just take my garden waste and jam it through the slot once I've resurfaced the cutters. The whole system's modular. Originally it was just this hopper and lid assembly with no feeder or anything on it. And then I decided to build a feeder to destroy and crush more bulky pieces of material that wouldn't feed properly in the bottom of the hopper. Stuff that would normally bridge the hopper and fail to feed. See the damage to the rotor there. I lost all these cutters here. That's been torn off. This side's okay. It's very crude, but it works very well. I made this quite a while ago, so I didn't have access to surface grinders or laser cutters or anything, so I just grabbed a bit of thick wall steam pipe